The Indian Navy just conducted live firing tests in the Arabian Sea near the maritime border. Following India's NOTAM, even the Pakistan Navy announced military exercises but kept a distance of 60 nautical miles away from the Indian warships. According to reports, Indian military naval exercises were carried out off the coast of Porbandar and Okha in Gujarat. Pakistani drills took place well inside their own territorial waters. The Pakistani Navy remains on the edge, fearing the next Indian onslaught. This after Prime Minister Modi had declared that the Navy will lead the attack in the next India-Pakistan war. It has now been revealed what Prime Minister Modi told the Indian Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh Tripathi soon after Operation Sindoor. After praising the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force for destroying terror camps in 9 different Pakistani cities, and then crippling 10 Pakistani air bases with the BrahMos, Prime Minister Modi told the Navy Chief, quote, "I have snatched the morsel out of your mouth, but your turn will come," unquote. Many see this as a green light or the green flag for the Indian Navy to strike the Karachi harbour in the next conflict, just like India did back in 1971. Today, the Indian Navy is ranked 7th most powerful in the world, while Pakistan is down in 29th place, behind even the likes of Bangladesh, which is in 16th. During the recent Indian military operation, aircraft carrier INS Vikrant with its MiG-29 jets and a strike group of 36 warships had been dispatched to besiege Karachi, before Pakistani generals picked up the phone and called India to request a ceasefire. It is now being reported that no Pakistani warships even dared to be deployed in the open sea during Operation Sindoor, and in fact Pakistan had moved much of its navy towards Gwadar, away from the Indian Armada, which had Karachi on its radar. Indian military leadership already predicts that the next war will break out soon, and the Navy is enhancing its war plans accordingly. The next terror attack by any Pakistani-backed terror group like Pahalgam or the 2008 Mumbai attacks or the 2001 Parliament attack will draw an overwhelming response from the Indian military, and there will be no letting up this time.
If Pakistan dare take any action, and Pakistan knows it, what we are going to do.
The recent Indian naval exercise were aimed at refining maritime combat skills and maintaining operational readiness, especially after intel gained during Operation Sindoor.
इस बार की ओपनिंग और किसी के द्वारा ना हो, हमारी नेवी के द्वारा हो.
The timing and close vicinity of these latest exercises is aimed at sending a clear message and a warning that Indian Navy remains ready to strike at a moment's notice. Even the world acknowledges Indian Navy's excellence. Philippines ambassador to the UK recently claimed that the Indian Navy is the only one with the courage to go anywhere it pleases. This after Indian warships conducted exercises near Scarborough Shoal in the South China Sea recently. But let's take a closer look at how the Indian Navy dominated its noisy neighbor in the recent war, and that too without having to fire a single shot. The Indian Navy's largest ever wartime fleet, led by aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, was deployed near Pakistan's Karachi port during Operation Sindoor. This historic deployment involved 36 frontline naval assets and warships, including powerful BrahMos-equipped warships and submarines. INS Vikrant, India's first indigenous aircraft carrier, was the center of this operation and was backed by a spearhead of 8 to 10 advanced warships and destroyers operating in the northern Arabian Sea. They were well within striking range of Karachi with their missiles, which is Pakistan's economic lifeline and handles more than 75% of all Pakistani trade and vital oil imports. The fleet's core strength came from 7 destroyers armed with long-range BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles, along with medium-range surface-to-air missile systems, and Varunastra heavyweight torpedoes, providing the capacity to hit land, sea and air, as well as underwater targets with precision. Supporting the spearhead were 7 stealth-guided missile frigates, including the newly inducted INS Tushil, adding a further layer of maritime firepower. Beneath the surface, 6 advanced Indian Navy submarines operated with surface units conducting surveillance and remaining ready to strike, while fast attack crafts and missile boats also accompanied this vast armada. INS Vikrant, armed with state-of-the-art missile technology as well as MiG-29K fighter jets, acted as a successful strategic deterrent during this India-Pakistan conflict. Officials have even compared the scale of this operation with the 1971 war, when just 6 Indian warships struck Karachi with devastating results. Only this time, the Indian force was many times stronger. According to a report in NDTV, the INS Vikrant-led carrier battle group did not face any challenge from Pakistani Navy in the North Arabian Sea, and its presence itself was able to effectively put Pakistan's warships as well as Pakistani fighter jets to the Makran coast in Balochistan, thereby preventing any Pakistani aerial maneuvers or threats to India's western coast along Gujarat and Mumbai. While visiting INS Vikrant after Operation Sindoor, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh warned Pakistan sternly and underscored the Indian Navy's formidable strength. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh posted on X. Pakistan knows what happens when the Indian Navy moves with full force. 1971 is a witness to this. That when the Indian Navy came into action, Pakistan was divided into 2 parts. If the Indian Navy had come into form in Operation Sindoor, then Pakistan would not only have been divided into 2 parts, but I think it would have been divided into 4 parts, unquote. The Indian Navy currently has at least 100 warships and enjoys a massive power advantage over Pakistan, which has only around 36 warships, according to the World Directory of Modern Military Warships. India also has 2 aircraft carrier strike groups and at least 2 nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines, none of which is in Pakistani fleet. There is literally no competition here. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh elaborated. The way you protect our maritime borders, the intensity with which you track every movement in the Indian Ocean, if that capability of yours was part of this mission, then there is no need to tell you what would have happened to Pakistan. In a way, Pakistan is very lucky that our Navy did not display its valor during Operation Sindoor, unquote. According to reports, the Indian Navy was fully ready to strike Karachi and other military targets within 96 hours of the Pahalgam attack carried out by a Pakistan-based terror group in April 2025. Navy's deployment acted like a blockade, restricting Pakistan's naval movements and showing India's capability to respond decisively to any threat. The naval forces were fully synchronized with the Army and the Air Force during this military operation, emphasizing a coordinated response. This blockade was one of the largest operational maritime deployment by India near Karachi since 1971 war, highlighting the importance of the Karachi port for Pakistan and India's strategic focus during any future conflict as well. Over land, the Indian Army and Indian Air Force reigned supreme. Pakistani General Munir must be wondering just how did India first destroy terror camps in 9 different Pakistani cities. The Indian Air Force then shot down 6 enemy jets and Indian Sukhoi 30 MKI fighter jets hit at least 10 Pakistani air bases with BrahMos. All this while Islamabad's Chinese origin air defenses were easily suppressed and beaten by India.
बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल अभी लॉन्च किए हैं, एक नूर खान एयरपोर्ट पे गिरा है.
As tensions spiral between India and Pakistan after the deadly Pahalgam massacre, the world is watching how India flexes its maritime power, and INS Vikrant, Indian Navy's flagship aircraft carrier, continues to stand as a symbol of power in the Arabian Sea, just as it stood firmly during Operation Sindoor. On April 22, 2025, Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir witnessed a brutal terror attack, with 26 civilians killed, mainly Hindus, by a Pakistan-backed group linked to UN-designated terror group Lashkar. New Delhi promptly blamed Pakistan after TRF claimed responsibility for the attack, and the investigation and intelligence linked the attackers to Pakistan and POK. One of the attackers is reportedly a former Pakistani military special forces personnel. This escalated into a familiar but dangerous diplomatic and military standoff between nuclear-armed neighbors. After the Pahalgam massacre, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he fully trusts the Indian Armed Forces and gave them complete operational freedom to decide on the mode, targets and timing of India's response to the cowardly terror attack. This decision came after 2 Cabinet Committee on Security meetings and a meeting with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, NSA Ajit Doval, CDS General Anil Chauhan and 3 service chiefs. Modi also met Navy Chief Admiral Dinesh Tripathi separately. India's response was swift. Diplomatic ties took a hit, and in a major policy shift, the Indus Waters Treaty was suspended. And in the following Operation Sindoor, Indian strikes on key Pakistani assets forced Islamabad to seek a ceasefire. The Indian dominance was so complete that Pakistan not only dropped its demand for Indus Waters restoration during the conflict, but Pakistan PM also gave a fake portrait to Asim Munir of an old Chinese military drill as credit. The portrait, much like Pakistani propaganda, is nothing but hot air. After the hammering by India, Asim Munir is bound to attempt another Pahalgam or Pulwama to cater to his power base. But this time, not only will GHQ Rawalpindi get a taste of BrahMos, but Karachi will have to relive the nightmare of 1971. But the much more powerful Indian Navy might just visit to stay this time. What do you believe? Will the Indian Navy be the deciding factor in the next India versus Pakistan war? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.